Hello audience, Mr. Z here with an absolutely fascinating alternate history scenario for you. What if the Technocracy Movement succeeded? The Great Depression was a turbulent era in world history and has been the flashpoint for numerous alternate history scenarios, which itself should give you an idea of just how much was going on. One of the most fascinating being the Technocracy Movement, a social movement which proposed the replacement of politicians and business owners with scientists and engineers. The movement gained a great deal of momentum in the early 30s, offering new means by which to remedy the financial and political situations that he found themselves in, including developing a maximum efficiency work schedule and a superior fail-proof monetary system to prevent events like the Depression from ever happening again. However, the movement began to lose steam as conditions improved and the US entered the war. The following prosperity of the 50s and 60s caused the movement to fall into obscurity. However, it still survives even to this day, with a website you could visit and learn more about their ideas and history. What's often cited as being the point of failure for the Technocracy movement was the prediction of the price system collapse in 1937. However, when the decline of the Depression changed course, so did fears of the financial apocalypse die away. But let's say things do take a turn for the worst, and by 1937 American and Canadian currency is virtually worthless, leading to unprecedented support for the Technocrats, who the public would appoint to begin restructuring their communities and the continent. The Technocrats would declare that there would no longer be any place for politics or politicians, for finance or financiers, for rackets or racketeers, that the scarcity they are experiencing is but artificially imposed and only exists to maintain the price system, that in a state of abundance, prices only become lower, and in a state of great abundance, there should be no price at all. But neither the politicians nor business people want that, and therefore prices are fixed and fall below a certain point, no matter how much may exist. Price control will be abandoned and replaced by an efficient technocratic system with energy as the chief metric or value, something which changes in correlation to production and distribution. Every citizen would receive a lifelong certificate of distribution which entitles them to an equal portion of production and assigns them a work schedule of 4 days a week for 4 hours per day. This in theory would produce the perfect rotation schedule to allow all industries and services to operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Holiday periods would be assigned to each citizen to establish maximum efficiency while ensuring that the steady and organized flow of every citizen's schedule. The North American Technate would stretch from Alaska to Greenland and from the North Pole to Panama. It would be divided into resource sectors, kind of like the Hunger Games, and would ensure that the Technate is entirely self-sufficient and capable of sustaining the entire geographic unit. The Technate would also have a mandatory conscription program should it come under threat, and it would be one of the largest and most well-armed militaries on the planet. This would make it a force to be reckoned with upon its entry into World War II and would demonstrate to the world the capability and efficiency of the movement. It is a little difficult to assess exactly how the Technate would behave internationally, but being self-sufficient, it has a little reason to seek out conquest, as this may cause imbalance or strain its abilities. The movement and the ideology would spread, as Germany had an early technocratic movement prior to the outbreak of World War II, and may see a steady revival, potentially leading to a technocratic alternative to the European Union. As for the Cold War, that's a bit of a strange area to explore. The Red Scare wouldn't be as much of a driving factor, but geographically the USSR is fairly close to the Technate, and if a nuclear threat was made, so would the Technate make every effort to defend itself. So yes, the Cold War would still happen, but it would probably have far less tensions between both sides, and many international proxy wars would likely be avoided. It would seem that ideas and ideology would be the primary weapons of the Cold War, with both superpowers attempting to demonstrate less the strength of their nation, but rather the capabilities in production and efficiency. Not an overly destructive or cataclysmic scenario, but I personally thought that there was a lot of fascinating content here, and was more of a look into how such a system would have worked, as there really aren't many, if any, nations run in such a manner. But with that said, I think this is where I'm going to end today's scenario. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more. Mr. Z, out.